So how do you feel like, we spoke about this earlier. You're a Christian, you're in the SEAL teams, you're doing your thing, you're living what most people see as a dream job, I think. Um, did you ever reach a point to where you felt like you were almost losing your identity because of the op tempo and the work schedule? Did it almost come to a point where you felt like it was too much?
No, I never did. My identity was being a team guy and to be part of a brotherhood that was way bigger than myself and a mission that's way bigger than myself. Um, I lost my identity when I got out, for damn
That was my
sure.
that was my next question. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about that?
Yeah. So, man, I mean, just like everyone, I spent a year or two prepping to go to Buds, 6 years in the teams. I wanted to do a full 20-year career. I wanted to screen. I wanted to go to Damnick and excuse me. In 2021, my sister, who I love dearly, Natalie, was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So she moved back to my parents' house. So my mom, my sister, my dad were living together in Yorba Linda. My dad has been, like I said earlier, was he's like our bloodline is filled with like addiction. So he was battling like methamphetamine, Xanax addiction for his whole life, and he was sober when I left the military, left for the military up until 2020, and then he was getting slipping back into it. And 2021, I'm looking at you, but I'm like having this visual in my head of I was like family meeting, mom, sister, dad, living room, and I said, "Dad, Natalie's very sick. If I have to come home from Yemen while I'm point man, a lot of responsibility to save you. I'm going to resent you for my whole entire life."
Wow.
Verbatim. That's what I said to him. And he said, okay. I thought it was good. And it wasn't. So went on deployment. Fast forward 3 months in, 4 months in, my my sister texted me saying, Dad's getting really bad. Can you come home early? And I said, you're asking me to come home early from deployment. That's a big ask. That's big. Um, and I said, okay, let me think about it. Week two passes. My neighbor texts me saying, I found your sister in a pool of her own blood in the bathtub at your dad's house.
Oh, man.
And she had no pulse. And my dad, while he was high on drugs, carried her to the ambulance. And she's a fucking gangster. She clung to life and uh wasn't that
Yeah.
she was dead, like clinically dead,
Wow.
and she clung to life and said, okay, I asked my chief to come home early. He said, dude, go home and help your family. But what I didn't want to go home and I didn't want to tell my dad and go home for him to sober up. I wanted to see what it was, how bad it was. So I just flew back home and I showed up on the doorstep. My sister's back from the ER and he was on a 5-day meth bender, up for 5 days, talking to shadow people, really, really crazy statements he was saying. And I felt it was extremely unsafe for my mom and my sister to stay at the house. So I got them a hotel room and left my dad in the house. And I said, Dad, I have to go back to San Diego to check into the team. I'll be back in 2 days. And then he said, okay. Um, yes, go ahead.
Man, that's incredible. I mean, that's amazing that your sister was able to come back from that, man. I mean, God, I can't even imagine walking into that and coming home, especially being from a deployment and then coming back home to that. How did you
Yeah, it
get
was,
through that, dude? Like, how did you manage that?
I handled it terribly. I mean, I watched my sister who is like a super role model. Like she's my sister. She's my big sister. She went from 130 pounds to 80 pounds in 4 months.
Wow.
And to see that photo while I was on deployment, Man, it broke my heart. Um, I went back to San Diego, checking the team, and then I went to a Padres game in San Diego with my best friend to like try to decompress for a second. I was like, I just left my platoon. My dad's in trouble. My sister's dying, and I'm like sitting, damn, on left field bleachers, and my neighbor FaceTimes me, and he's never FaceTimed me ever. And I was like, I looked at my phone and I literally just said, "Fuck."
Yeah.
I said, "Fuck," and I clicked on it, and my house is on fire.
Oh my gosh, dude. Man.
So he like put gasoline everywhere and lit it on fire.
Your dad did?
Yeah,
Wow.
and he was inside when he did that, and my neighbor across the street, he was sitting in the living room while it was happening, burning, and he's like, "Bill, get out of there! Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're gonna die!" And by the grace of God, he walked out with smoke inhalation, had no clothes on, with drugs in his pocket. Um, Luckily, he's okay. But yeah, dude. So after that, I drove to Orange County from San Diego, and at midnight, I just walked through the burnt house where the Boston Marathon picture is burnt
Mm.
and everything's gone. Yeah.
Damn, man. I'm sorry, brother. That's hard, dude. Damn.